Latest live stream. I'm gonna give everybody about 20 seconds to arrive. We're gonna be doing our first ever episode of Let's Talk Weather. It's gonna be a new series. This can be going on most likely a lot. I'll probably be doing at least 3 or 4 every week. That does include also this month of April. I will plan on doing a lot more of these during the summer months. I'll give everybody just a few seconds to arrive, say hello. We'll be going over some stuff across North Texas over the next few days. We do have a chance for severe weather on a few occasions, so we'll be going over that in just a moment as well. But I do have to make sure I do something very briefly. But other than that, we will get started. 1 second. YouTube has to make me put on a thumbnail, so please. This will be the first, again, ever episode of Let's Talk Weather. It is a name I came up with last night, and I decided to use it today. Just give me 1 second, and we should be good. Alrighty, welcome everybody to the stream. As I said before, we're going to go over North Texas weather for the most part. We will also be looking at some of the severe weather outbreak that's going on in the central portions of the country. There was a large tornado earlier today, and there was like 4-inch diameter hail in Arkansas. It's been a pretty crazy day over in Arkansas, as well as entering to Tennessee now. So there's a lot going on. We're going to be looking at North Texas weather, though, primarily at least for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll maybe dive in a little bit to what's going on in the other portions of the country, more like the southern to southeastern portions of the plains. Sorry. Why the YouTube is... There we go. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with what we're expecting tonight and as well as tomorrow. We do have a chance for severe weather, actually, potentially late tonight for areas way back off to the northeast, but this might impact us during the daytime tomorrow, which might bring us a few storms. There's also a chance for maybe a few severe storms during the daytime Sunday as well, so it might impact some Easter plans. I'll show you the timing as well as the threats, what to expect. It looks like for the most part, we'll only be looking at maybe some damaging winds or some isolated large hail. So it looks like pretty low-end threats at this point for North Texas. You can see as of today, and this is basically for tonight, there's a marginal risk of severe weather way back out to the north, and that would basically include anywhere just along the Red River here. Basically, I mean, it's southeastern Oklahoma, so it's not really going to impact us a whole lot tonight, but there is a chance that something during the early morning, somewhere between about 4 to 8 in the morning, could maybe impact portions of far northeastern North Texas. So just keep that in mind. And here's a look at Sunday. For some reason, Saturday is not popping up, but I'll show you Saturday in just a second. Okay, I already got a notification now. Thank you, Lacey, for the 200 stars. I appreciate it. But you can take a look at this. You can see that there's a potential for maybe some severe weather back out to our east on Sunday. I do think this may change, though. I think that we might see a marginal risk closer to DFW for at least the late morning hours on Sunday. In terms of Saturday, let's go ahead and I'll bring that up in a second. But Saturday, we are under a marginal risk of severe weather for most of eastern DFW. And I'll show you, again, that in just a few moments. For some reason, I don't have a graphic for that, but we'll go ahead and get into that in just a second. All right, let's take a look at the temperatures tomorrow morning. We'll be waking up into the low to mid 70s. You might be wondering, why is it going to be so warm? Well, all the moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico is going to be fueling not just a very high humidity, but it's also going to be fueling some pretty high temperatures when you wake up tomorrow. So again, most of us will be in the low to mid 70s. Eventually by lunchtime tomorrow, we will for the most part be in the mid 80s, but it depends on where you are. If you're near Wichita Falls, you can see it's only going to be 57 degrees tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I mean, it sounds absurd, but it's only going to be 57 degrees. It's going to be it's much chillier than what you would maybe expect for this time of the year. Closer to Sherman, 71. This would be primarily due to the fact we'll see a cold front and also a dry line come through kind of around the same time. The dry line will push through portions of DFW during the later portions of Saturday. The cold front will push through portions of far northwestern North Texas during the late morning, early afternoon tomorrow. So again, that's just something to keep in mind. Going through Sunday morning, you can see temperatures will drop for the most part. Most of us should be in the 60s, some 50s back off to the north and west. And eventually by the afternoon Sunday, so again, if you have any Easter plans, we'll probably be in the 60s for the most part. We might get into the low to mid 70s. It depends on how much sunshine we see. At this point, the computer models are mostly hinting toward a bit of a cooler morning before rapidly increasing the temperatures with more sunshine in the afternoon. You can see temperatures by 3, 4 o'clock. If you have a barbecue plan for Easter Sunday, you can see temperatures will be in the low 80s for the most part. Again, depends on where you are because there will be some showers and maybe some thunderstorms as well on Sunday. Here's a look at the dew points as well. As I kind of said before, it is extremely humid. You probably felt that when you woke up this morning. You're probably thinking it wasn't humid at all, and now it it is extremely humid. It's now basically in the low 70s for dew points. So you can see across the area, low 70s for dew points as of right now, eventually, or by tomorrow morning as well, and eventually going into the mid portions of tomorrow, so right around lunchtime or so, you can see dew points will start to drop for many of us back off to the northwest again. Wichita Falls is going to be 57 or whatever degrees at about 12 or 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, but in comparison, the dew point's also going to be 44, so it's going to be a lot drier back out to the northwest. Here in DFW, it'll still be a bit humid through lunchtime. Eventually, those dew points do drop during the afternoon hours. Still a bit humid, though. I would expect at least anywhere east of I-35. I would definitely expect you to be a bit humid during the, really, all throughout the day, Sunday, Saturday, and as well as potentially through most of Sunday, because we will have that chance for storms. You can see still a potential for maybe dew points there. Thank you, Michael, for the 310 stars. I appreciate it. But you can see that around 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, you can see still dew points are still fairly humid, low to mid 60s for the most part, and eventually as you go throughout the morning, they're still humid. This is where we could see the potential for maybe some severe storms during the late morning Sunday and maybe even the early afternoon. So again, something to keep in mind if you have any early Easter plans. Just keep it in mind, there might be some showers and storms out there, and that might be the late morning hours as well. It's a little bit early for most people because obviously usually we don't see storms until like the mid to late afternoon or even overnight for the most part in Texas. I mean, it seems like it always happens here in North Texas. All right, going into the lunchtime hours Sunday and going to the afternoon hours, you can see the dew points start to drop for DFW. We should have no storm chances after, I would say, about 5 to 6 o'clock. And thank you, Ryan, for becoming a supporter. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into the future radar because there's a lot to break down here in terms of what to expect here over the next several days. Obviously, we have that chance for severe weather for basically 2 days at this point. Tonight isn't really a chance. I'd say it's, you know, it's a very low-end chance. Depends on where you are. Again, if you're far off to the northeast, you have a chance. But here in DFW, we should stay dry tonight. Okay, here's a look at the future radar. So this is actually a little bit delayed. Let's go to the most recent one. Might not be updated, actually. Okay, it's updated enough. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the future radar here on the NAM 3K model. So as I said before, some storms during the mid to late morning hours tomorrow might be possible back out to the northwest. And you can start to see that showing up on your screen. There might be a little like line of storms trying to push down to the south, a bit of a stronger cap, and the outflow boundary will probably weaken. That's basically what this model is showing is an outflow boundary. Outflow boundary will probably weaken by the time it gets to northeastern North Texas, so storms should fizzle out for the most part. We might have a chance for some showers and storms during the mid to late afternoon hours, maybe during the evening hours again, maybe anywhere basically east of I-35. Again, going to Sunday, let's go and go to this computer model. Here's going to Sunday, a better chance for showers and storms exists during the morning and maybe early afternoon hours. So you can see around 9 in the morning, showers and storms start to develop. Again, back out to the northeast, it looks like is where most of those storms will develop. We might have a little bit of a cap in place in the DFW Metroplex, but we'll see. Storms by 10 o'clock, you can see maybe some strong storms. And again, any of these pinks could represent maybe some large hailstones. So I would not expect, you know, what you saw from earlier today, the 5.676 inch hail that we saw in Salado, Texas the last Tuesday. We're not going to be looking at anything like that. Don't be panicking about something coming right through your roof. I think for the most part, if any hail does happen on Sunday, it would be quarter-sized hail at the most. So I would not be overly concerned at this point about super large hail, but definitely make sure you have your precautions in place, like bring your car into the garage and make sure you're monitoring the weather very closely because storms will definitely be possible, again, late Sunday morning. And again, the coverage in areas that it might hit could vary. Again, we might see storms in DFW. This particular computer model does not show that, but we could definitely see a few storms in the DFW Metroplex. I would expect the greatest activity, though, to be out to our southeast, so you can see our east, excuse me. So by about 11 in the morning on Sunday, you'd see some storms filling into the Texarkana region, and as well as southeast of Paris. Those, again, storms could very well produce that large hail threat. By about 12, 1 o'clock, some more storm coverage potentially in the southeastern portions of DFW, and then we should eventually dry out during the late Sunday hours. So basically, that's what we're looking at in terms of severe weather. Here's your tornado parameter. Now, what is the threat for tornadoes this weekend? I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's basically zero. I don't think we're going to be really looking at a tornado threat out of any particular storm this weekend. Very low-end threats, again, we're going to be basically under a marginal risk, if anything, this weekend. So we're not looking at a very high-end risk. We're not looking at, you know, an enhanced risk or a moderate risk or anything like that. So you can see the tornado parameter values going into tomorrow morning, like 9, 10 in the morning, will be actually closer to 1. So it's, you know, it's a low end risk, but we won't probably see any storms tomorrow morning. So again, don't be too concerned about tomorrow morning. Going to the afternoon hours, you can see the tornado parameter values basically go down to our east and as well as down to our south. So any storms that might develop down to the south and east, there might be a low-end threat, but at this point, I'm going to be honest with you, I think the threat is completely zero. I just don't think we're going to see a tornado threat, at least in Texas per se, either Saturday or Sunday. Again, our main threats, I think, will be damaging winds, maybe up to 60 miles per hour, and maybe some quarter-sized hail. Let's take a look at the instability. So what we're looking at in terms of instability, it's actually going to be fairly high, by the way. I mean, we're looking at pretty decent values, anywhere from about 1,000 to 2,000. So not nearly as high as what we saw last Tuesday, but they're definitely high enough for that potential for maybe some severe weather. Going through this is basically Saturday, so you can see right around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, instability values really skyrocket with maybe some daylight heating. So you can see values might even reach as high as, 2,500, maybe up to as high as 3,000. So definitely a lot of instability in the atmosphere on Saturday. But that, again, the storm threat, I think, will probably be to our south and east. There also might be a strong enough cap on Saturday to prevent us from seeing many storms here at the DFW Metroplex. So that would obviously be that would be very beneficial for us. Take a look at going to Sunday morning. Instability obviously kind of moves down to the south and east as that dry line and cold front move down to the southeast. Eventually, the instability is primarily down in southeastern Texas during the late portion Sunday, but we might still see some storms during the morning hours. Here's a look at the cap. Again, any red, purples, yellows is going to represent a pretty strong cap. So going to Saturday, again, we'll have pretty much a strong cap for DFW. The only area where I would expect storms to develop on Saturday will probably be in this area here. So this could even include Collin County, but this might be an area to watch for maybe a few storms. And I can't even rule out maybe, western Dallas County or eastern Tarrant County, but it looks like, again, it's a fairly low-end threat on Saturday. I would only expect maybe a 20 to maybe 30% coverage during the daytime Saturday, and you can eventually see, let's go into Sunday real quick. And the instability values on Sunday actually are fairly high, but what we're maybe forecasting at this point is maybe some storms being elevated over the cap on Sunday. That could potentially, again, create maybe a low-end severe weather threat, as I said before. So damage winds up to 60 miles per hour and maybe a little bit of quarter-sized hail. So those are the threats we're looking at this point. Take a look at the future radar here in North Texas. This is next week. We have a lot of storm chances next week. And if you haven't already looked at our 7-day forecast, I'm just going to show it real quick. There's 3 different days we could see storms next week. Wednesday and Thursday being the best days of seeing potential for storms, maybe Friday. It's kind of a bit more of an isolated chance at this point. Take a look at the future radar, though. Monday and Tuesday, we should fairly, for the most part, stay dry. There will be maybe a little line of storms back out to our west. You can start to see here on the screen, back out to your west, some storms potentially out in central and western Texas. Might see this little line of storms reach the Metroplex during the late portions Tuesday into Wednesday early morning. So something to keep in mind for late next week. You can say maybe a few storms right around the midnight hour, early Wednesday morning. Eventually going into Wednesday, you can see the potential for storms does exist. Going into Thursday, more showers and storms might develop as well. Looks like a bit of a lower end risk though, and eventually going into Friday, an isolated shower possible or thunderstorm, but it looks, again, pretty low end on Friday. Most instability will be around for late Tuesday into Wednesday, so that's when I think the threat for severe weather will exist. At this point, there's no, the Storm Prediction Center is saying it's pretty low end risk at this point. I would honestly say at the highest we'll see is maybe a slight risk with this sort of event. Maybe back out to the west, we could maybe see a slightly higher event, but at this point for the DFW Metroplex, you can see the instability is actually pretty nice here. I mean, we're looking at 1 to 2,000 again. Pretty prime setup. We're not looking at, this weird setup. I'll show you the setup in just a moment, what we're looking at tonight, because it's a bit of a different setup from what they're usually like in North Texas. But you can see instability values, again, pretty much, pretty marginal to maybe slight for most threat levels. Going to Thursday, instability still exists, but we should probably see that go away on Friday. And again, maybe an isolated shower storm on Friday. It looks like a pretty low end risk. And they might see some more storms during the early portions of next week, but it's just too far out to predict that. Look at the drought monitor, by the way. It actually has improved since the last time we saw it. So you can see northern DFW is under a moderate drought now. So that's the D1 level, basically the second high, or the second lowest, no, third lowest. Third lowest. The second lowest is the yellow shading, which is abnormally dry, and then none is the white shading. So basically off to the northwest, or northeast, there's basically no drought at all. Here in DFW, we're anywhere from moderate drought as high as even exceptional drought, but that's primarily down to our southwest. That's basically just west of Waco. So you can see that little red shaded area there. That is where you're seeing exceptional drought. Temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. So this would be from next Thursday up until Monday. You can see that the overall temperature outlook at this point is basically looking like we're going to see above average temperatures next week. Now, it won't be probably by a long stretch in my opinion. I think for the most part we'll be looking at mid to upper 70s, maybe some lower 80s. So I would not be going crazy thinking it's gonna be like 90, 95. I don't think that's gonna happen next week. We probably won't see like low 90s consistently, at least until probably mid to late May. Here's the temperature outlook for, this is basically from the 23rd to the 29th. You can see that off to the northeast and basically anywhere in North Texas, also forecasting a pretty good chance of seeing above average temperatures during that time frame as well. So it looks like we're going to stay above average in temperatures, and we also might stay above average in precipitation as well over the next, basically to end off the month. So basically over the next 15 days, we should stay above average in terms of precipitation. You can see North Texas included in that little green shading. Very low, it's basically, kind of pretty much in the middle. This is from the Climate Prediction Center, by the way. This is all their outlook. So you can see from the 8 to 14 day outlook as well, looking at maybe some above average precipitation. All right, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. Again, this is Let's Talk Weather episode 1. I go over every question that you have. And also, hi Ryan, I saw you a long time ago, but thank you for joining. you have any questions, though, you can ask on YouTube, on Facebook. If there isn't really any questions, we're going to kind of jump into the severe weather outbreak going on right now and jump into that tornado warning. I believe it's near Memphis. So, but we'll go over some North Texas weather for you for a few minutes. And if you have any questions, let me know. And again, thank you for everybody that sent stars and also the new supporter, Ryan. I really appreciate it. What level storm will Fort Worth get? Tomorrow and Sunday will probably be a marginal risk of severe storms. So maybe some damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and potentially maybe some quarter-sized hail. That would probably be the main threats, it looks like, for the next couple of days. But tonight, I don't think we'll see any severe weather. I'll go ahead and show you actually in just a second about the what's going on right now in Oklahoma and kind of what that might portray to us maybe in the early morning tomorrow. Chris, I actually have a YouTube video. It's a very detailed video. If you want me to go over it again, though, I can go over the cap. But there is a very good video I literally just posted like 2 or 3 days ago on our YouTube channel. You can go find that. It's like 3 or 4 videos ago at the most. It is a great video that you can find a full explanation on. But if you want me to explain it again, I can definitely. But just let me know. Time frame, yeah. So the time frame. Which day did you want? Do you want both days, Saturday or Sunday? And Amy Lou, thank you for becoming a supporter on Facebook. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Both, please. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at Saturday. And Saturday, the timing on this is kind of a little bit weird. It just kind of depends on what we see, what basically transpires tonight. So, all right, let's take a look at Saturday. So this is 12 o'clock. Here's your timestamp, by the way. So if you don't see it, that's basically right there. It's at the top left of your screen. So 12 o'clock, you can kind of see here's the dry line. So the dry line kind of moves through DFW. There might be a few showers and storms Saturday back out to the northeast. I would expect if any storms do develop on Saturday, they will be in this region here. So if you're in Denton County, Tarrant County, you might have a 5 to potentially 10% chance of storms on Saturday. It's a very low end risk anyone along or west of I-35W. So any storms that do develop, I would expect to be between about 11 a.m. to maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. There might be a couple of showers of storms that do get elevated over the cap, which in that case, we could see a shower storm as early as 10. But other than that, I think the most of the threat would be off to our east and as well as to our northeast. You can see, during the late portion Saturday, we might have some storms back out to our east. By the way, I will go live for any severe weather either tomorrow or Sunday, anywhere in the North Texas region. So, or anywhere really in Texas in general, basically anywhere in this area, I would go live for because I am home for the weekend, so I have some time. And yeah, so we'll go over any severe weather then as well, if there's anything then. Here's a look at Sunday, by the way. It's pretty interesting. So the NAM3K model actually shows storms as early as 6 to 7 in the morning. I'll show you a couple of computer models here. This is what the NAM3K is showing. So you can see some showers and storms during the daytime Sunday. This is at 7 in the morning, by the way. Some storms kind of fire up, probably elevated over the cap, by the way. By 8, 9 o'clock, these storms move down to the southeast. By 10, 11 o'clock, plenty of storm activity ongoing. Eventually, we should dry out by like lunchtime or so. That's just one computer model. Now, the NAM3K model has been accurate. It's not always inaccurate, but it has some inaccuracies sometimes. This might be one of them, but if we see an elevated shower or storm over the cap that kind of blows up like that, might create an outflow boundary, which might create the scenario. And for some reason, this model loves to show outflow boundaries, and I'm not sure why, but they do. So this model is very known for kind of shooting out outflow boundaries. All right, let's take a look at the HR model, though, for Sunday. This one might be a little bit more realistic. However, we could also see the FERT scenario, so keep that in mind. There might be some storms during the early portion Sunday. I'll have a lot more information for you tomorrow, so watch out for that forecast. All right, here's a look at tomorrow, or basically Sunday again. So timing-wise, about 9 in the morning, and see some showers and storms back out to our northeast. I think we're almost guaranteed to see some sort of storms within the 4-county metroplex. Not everybody will see them again, but we might see at least a storm or two somewhere around the DFW metroplex. By 10, 11 in the morning, storms move out to the north and east. And eventually, you might see some storms starting to fire up closer to DFW once the cap breaks, which it should break really relatively quickly on Sunday. We should have a the temperature will not need to be that high for Sunday for us to see that cap break. And eventually, by 2 to 3 o'clock, these storms move out to the north and east and south, excuse me. So that's what we're looking at in terms of Sunday as well in terms of timing. If you have any more specific questions about timing, by the way, just let me know. One of my ideas on the storms for Sunday morning, I would expect, again, maybe some damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail. It's going to be kind of a scenario where we're just looking at probably like a, elevated storms over the cap. So if I go back to the NAM model again, we'll probably be looking at storms elevated over the cap like this. You can see this is at like 6, 7 in the morning. This is not very typical, by the way, but storms might fire up like this over the cap, which might create an outflow boundary eventually. And then eventually you can see by 8, 9 in the morning, these storms really just kind of move to the southeast pretty quickly. Now, again, this might create an outflow boundary, could potentially produce some quarter-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. I would not expect a tornado threat out of by any means with this sort of system. I don't really expect any tornado threat in general this weekend, at least for North Texas. I just don't think it's going to happen. There's some shear, but it's not very strong, and it's also, you know, how it's being set up is just, it's not a very prime setup for tornadoes. So I don't think we'll see much of a tornado threat, at least. How long does the bad weather season last? That's a good question. So severe weather season in North Texas typically begins in early March. So, you know, that's basically kind of when it begins. And then it goes usually through the early portions of June. Most of the severe weather, though, does happen in April and early to mid-May. So, you know, the latest that we should see any significant severe weather outbreaks is probably going to be sometime around mid-May. I mean, that would probably, you know, it sometimes happens a little bit later than that. Sometimes it happens a little bit earlier than that. But I would expect the worst outbreak, you know, to be happening before mid-May. And we might have already seen our worst outbreak. I mean, we saw like 16 or 17 tornadoes in one event back in March. I mean, we could very well see, you know, another one like that or something like that. I mean, this severe weather season, by the way, has been very active. I was forecasting it to be very active to begin with. I mean, I was even telling, like, you know, I was telling my advertisers, so like, it's probably gonna be a pretty active severe weather season, and it has been so far. And I mean, it's kind of lived up to what I thought it might be this year. Okay, no, it's too early, but what are the parameters looking like for next Wednesday? That is a good question. So I'll go and show you. I have it on somewhere on here. All right, I'll just show you the instability. There's not a whole lot of parameters I can really show you, at least with the European model. I can show you lapse rates and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if you would have too much of an idea what a lapse rate is, but kind of like how fast parcel rises in the atmosphere. But you can kind of get the general picture. This is during the daytime Wednesday, so there might be enough instability for some showers and storms Wednesday. There also might be a cap as well in place, and I'll go to the CIN model in just a second. But let's kind of look at the instability. So the instability values will be pretty high for both Wednesday and maybe even Thursday. We shouldn't have much of a threat on Friday. Here's the here's the cap, excuse me. I'm saying all sorts of words. Here's the cap. I'll go and show you in just a second after it loads. Here's the cap on Wednesday. So you can see the cap is actually pretty strong overall. I mean, it's not, you know, weak by any means. So at this point, the European model is currently forecasting a bit of a stronger cap. So if we have a stronger cap, something like this, then we probably wouldn't see much of any storms. Now, if we do see a weaker cap, we very well could see maybe a potential for several supercells. But at this point, it's kind of a little bit too early to predict what will actually happen in terms of the cap. You're familiar with it? Okay, I'll go and show it then. Go to basically around the same time. Now, I think the main threat will probably be late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Yeah, here are the lapse rates. Lapse rates are actually not, you know, terribly bad. I mean, we're looking at 8 degrees Celsius per kilometer, which is actually, you know, it's not pretty prime for a setup. If we go and take a look at a sounding, I mean, this is pretty, you know, this is what we're looking at. So basically what it says here, it's potential for a tornado. That I don't usually look at that though. The K index is 25, which means we might see some storms, but again, it kind of depends on the cap. And here's a look at the, it's not really a temperature inversion, but it's definitely a tension, pretty close to a temperature inversion. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at this point. What else is here? I honestly don't like these soundings that much because they kind of don't display information that I like to see. But yeah, the cap should be strong enough for it to be, you know, at this point, it's forecasting to be a bit of a stronger cap. So if that happens again, severe weather probably gonna be on the low end or 0 because we won't have, you know, anything to be able to make storms with. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the actual. Let's look at this. This is the precipitation. All right, here's Wednesday. This is what the European model is showing. So this is basically showing some thunderstorms during the early morning Wednesday. I don't completely buy what it's showing though at this point, in terms of, you know, what storms it's showing at what times, because this is basically all during the early to mid morning hours. Eventually, you can see the low pressure system centered right here. So we would probably be looking at, you know, I mean, we'd probably be looking at like some sort of dry line right here. Let's go and take a look. I might be wrong. Go to 135. It's hour 135. By the way, if you have any questions, again, let me know in chat. I will be getting to most of them. I'll be actually getting to all of them because there's not a whole lot of questions. But here's the dry line. I'm guessing the warm front. Let's go and take a look at temperatures. Kind of building this real quick. I mean, the warm front's probably right about here. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of setup. So I would expect, again, probably the tornado threat would probably be somewhere in here, but it's just too early to kind of put specifics on it. It's 135 hours out to begin with, from at least this forecast model. So some things could change, but if there's a tornado threat, it would probably be, you know, in this area here, but it's just too early because of all the parameters, and you know, again, there could be a cap that could limit severe weather. Do I ever go storm chasing? No, I've actually never gone storm chasing before. I also go to college in Florida, so that would probably explain why I haven't been storm chasing in a while, or I've never been storm chasing. I would have probably gone storm chasing by now if I was still in Texas. No problem, Nicole. All right, I'm a little bit behind on stuff. Maria, I'm not sure what you're saying. Trails. Wait, I don't know what that means. Why does Dallas always feel like it has a cap more than Oklahoma and Arkansas? That's a very good question. I don't have the best answer for you, but I can say that I only know this because, you know, it's pretty typical. The Southern Plains seems to have obviously has the strongest cap in terms of, you know, across the entire United States. So along the coastlines, there isn't much of a cap, and it's mainly because I'm gonna go and pull up this map real quick. Let's go and go to the scene real quick. It's my like nice little new graphic. All right, it's gonna come up in a second. Don't worry, it's coming. It's kind of a long thing. That was really long. Okay. All right, this is what we're looking at in terms of the United States, right? So this is the whole country. Here's the Southern Plains, right? All right, so that's kind of, well, that's not the Southern Plains. This is basically the Southern Plains, kind of outline it. So it's basically around there. Now, if you were to live in Florida, for example, there's sea breezes. There's a bunch of frontal boundaries that come through, at least during the spring and summer, or not spring and summer, spring and fall, and as well as the winter. But there's a lot of sea breezes. There's things that initiate storms a lot easier. Here in North Texas, we don't necessarily see a lot of things that initiate storms as quickly. And that's kind of, again, it kind of has to do with the setup that we have. So usually when you go to Texas, for example, let's kind of zoom in here. I don't want to zoom in too far. All right, let's go to here. So we have obviously the moisture that comes out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's basically a given all the time. Then we will usually have a dry line setup, which you can actually see there's a dry line set up right now west of Wichita Falls and along Abilene right now. So that's where the dry line is set up. And here's your warm front back out to the north. And it's kind of hard to see. These lines are not very pronounced, but that's kind of your setup at this point, right? And your cold front's way back here. So that's your setup. Now, what can we take from this? Well, we have a dry line, again, back off to the west. So we actually could have seen storms tonight, but we have, again, a strong cap. I mean, it seems like we're always under a strong cap, but I mean, I can't give you a great explanation. I'm gonna be honest, I really can't. But all I can say is that there's a lot more initiators back out closer to like Florida, or you know, when a storm system comes through, let's say it develops over the center of the country. I mean, what we saw a few days ago on Tuesday or Wednesday specifically, when we saw that severe weather outbreak over here in the eastern portions of the plains in the Ohio Valley, we eventually saw those storms just move out to the northeast, and they eventually weakened after daylight heating out here. So yeah, again, I can't really give you a great explanation. I'll probably know a better answer for you probably by next year once I'm actually taking better meteorology classes. I'm taking aviation weather right now, which I've learned almost nothing from it, so I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, lapse rates are definitely high, so that would definitely potentially bring that hail threat. Yeah, but the shear is obviously not that high. Can I go over tonight and tomorrow again? Sure. By the way, this is what's going on right now. So severe weather up in Oklahoma right now. There's also, I don't know if you guys heard, there was 4-inch sized hail with this storm a while ago. It was in northern Arkansas. I believe it was somewhere over here. It was east of Harrison. It was kind of near the border. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but I mean, it was like consistently falling 4-inch hail. It was crazy. But yeah, let me go and pull up the weather again, and go back to the other view. And again, it's going to take a second to transition. I apologize. My new transition. No, it should be an easy question. That just the thing is, I've not really learned anything, at least so far in terms of meteorology at my college. Everything I know right now is basically self-taught. There's only a few little things that I've actually learned so far from classes. And it's mainly because I'm taking aviation weather. That has nothing to do with severe weather at all. And I mean, it really doesn't. Basically, all it's about is just saying, don't fly near thunderstorms. That's like the easiest thing to say. Okay, let's get into today and tomorrow. Do you have any specific questions, by the way, Andy, or Addy, sorry. Do you have any specific questions about today or tomorrow, or do you just want timing, or let me know. Again, if anybody else has any questions, by the way, feel free to let me know. Again, if you're new here, make sure to follow us here on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be live for a little bit. Again, this is our first ever episode of Let's Talk Weather, and I plan on doing these a lot more. Just timing and possible threats. Okay. I'll get to that in a second, Kane. Okay, so let's get into the timing and the threats. So this is for tomorrow and as well as Sunday. So here's a look at Saturday. So you can kind of get a general idea here. This is kind of what we're looking at Saturday. I think most of the storm activity, again, as I kind of explained earlier, will probably be down over here to our east and as well as down to our north and east. So basically, storm activity on Saturday will probably be off to the north and east. Yes, I actually did hear about that, Peter. I'll go into that in just a second as well. I'll look at the severe weather that's ongoing in a few minutes. But again, this is where we'll see storms on Saturday. So threat levels probably going to be marginal at the most. So maybe a little bit of large hail or gusty winds. That's what we're looking at on Saturday. So a few storms there. Again, if there's any severe weather tomorrow anywhere in Texas, I will go live because I have nothing going on tomorrow. Going to Sunday, we might see some storms develop as early as 6, 7 in the morning back out to the west, and that could potentially enter the DFW Metroplex. These would be elevated storms over the cap. In this scenario, we'd be looking at maybe some quarter-sized hail and damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour out of a few cells. Not everybody would see it. This is just one scenario, though. We might not see this scenario. The NAM3K model seems to always want to go for these kind of scenarios for some reason. They always want to have an outflow boundary. They always want to have, elevated storms. Yeah, it's very weird, but this could be a possible scenario. So you can see 8 in the morning, storms going through the DFW Metroplex. By 9, 10 in the morning, these move down to the south and east. Closer to DFW, a few showers and storms still remaining possibly as late as about 11 or 12 o'clock, and eventually we should clear out during the afternoon. Going back, though, to Sunday on a different computer model, which might be a little bit more accurate. By 6, 7 in the morning, some storms start to form back out to the north and east. These would primarily stay off to the north and east, but a few storms might be in the northeastern portions of DFW. By 10, 11 o'clock, severe weather will definitely exist with these storms, quarter to potentially even $half sized hail, damaging wind gusts up to maybe 60, 65 miles per hour, possible with that set of storms. And eventually by 12, 1 o'clock, maybe even some storms closer to DFW Metroplex. Any storms that develop, though, with this scenario would be basically in southeastern DFW, so closer to Dallas. Cedric, you have probably about a 40% chance, maybe a 45% chance of storms tomorrow. Probably on the 35 to 40% chance for you. If you want specific timing, again, just go back like a minute and a half in the stream. I just kind of went over it. By the way, if you didn't notice, I have a black background, and you might wonder, what is that? That is a green screen. I'll probably be changing that at some point to some other color or something else. Again, everybody that donates to the stream, supports, whatever, all that money goes directly toward the setup and all that. And obviously, I got a green screen. I'll be doing more with the green screen later on, but I literally just got home tonight and I set it up, so that's why it's like that. By the way, if you do have any questions, again, let me know. I will be going to that storm in just a second. Okay. Oh yeah, Kane asked a question. So, sorry off subject, but what's the main difference between lapse rates and lifted index? So lapse rates have more to do with, again, kind of like what you said before, hail. Usually, the faster the lapse rate, you're going to probably see more hailstone size, you're probably going to see larger hail potentially with some storms. The lifted index is more of something that predicts basically how much severe weather, like what the risk of severe weather is. So depending on where the air parcel is, up closer to like I think it's 500 millibars. I literally just learned this, but I think it's up closer to like 500 millibars or something like that. Usually you're going to see, depending on what that temperature difference is between the dew point as well as the temperature, will determine, how much potential there is for maybe some severe storms, like what would be on the scale. Now, again, there could be a cap. There could be, again, the K index has something to do with it as well. If the K index is 0, then you obviously wouldn't see any storms. So, there's a lot of factors in terms of the lifted index. So the lifted index is one of the easier ways to figure out, I can even show up a sounding real quick here. I know these soundings actually show, I believe, the lifted index. The LI. So, it's very small, but you can see it in this box here. I'll put it in yellow. I'm not sure what these all mean, to be honest, but near the surface I know is 8. 2 mid-levels, I'm assuming. So I believe it's maybe 2, -3. I don't know what FCST means. Again, I do not like these soundings, but I believe if it was 2, that would be stable, but it's not stable here. So I'm not entirely sure. But it says basically anything from 0 to -4 is usually marginally unstable, basically meaning, marginal severe weather is possible. -4 to -7, potentially, more severe weather, enhanced, potentially as high as moderate sometimes, and -8 or higher is obviously very severe. So again, that's just kind of a general breakdown on it, but yeah, lifted index is more of like what the storms actually, how severe they will actually be. The lapse rate is more just hail. Kane, you have to buy, I believe, Pivotal Weather Plus, which is like $100 per year. So that's how I can. This is like a local view. So, I don't know if you can see it here, but this is basically the local view. So I can click on North Texas or whatever. That's what I do all my forecasts on right now. I may even transition because this software that I use here. And again, we're gonna go onto a transition here. Here's your live update transition. I don't know if you guys, do you guys like this little live transition thing? It's really random. Let's see if you can see me now. Okay, there. All right, so yeah, so this software that I use actually has a lot of things that I could do to potentially make my own forecast with just this, which I might do in the future. I just haven't had time for it because I'm obviously in college. I already run this page like 4 to 6 hours per day, so yeah. But that's just making forecasts in general. By the way, out here in near Memphis, there's currently a tornado warning. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at this real quick. By the way, if anybody has questions related to North Texas, always feel free to let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this real quick because this was a tornado that was on the ground a while ago. There was a funnel cloud apparently reported near Interstate 55. You have to go put this on the radar, which I believe it is. Okay, look, thunderstorm. The rotation was more pronounced earlier. We'll also go look at Oklahoma as well in a minute because the Oklahoma storms actually will have more to do with North Texas weather. This has nothing to do with it. There isn't really much rotation in this anymore. Why is it 29 minutes? There was more rotation, I believe, a little while ago. I mean, it's very strong winds, but I don't think this is really tornado warned. You know, tornado being able to be tornado warned. But there was a report of a funnel cloud back that was a while ago. Yeah, I mean, that's probably not much of anything anymore. But there was a tornado confirmed near Walnut Ridge, which I believe Peter said a little while ago. And that was back out here. There was also 4-inch sized hail recorded. I can't remember where it was. If anybody remembers where it was, let me know. Might have been near Salem. Might be wrong. Cherokee Village, maybe. Go to Oklahoma real quick. Let's see this. I'm from here in New Hampshire. I moved from Boston a little over a year ago. Yeah, honestly, well, yeah, I like doing New England weather too. New England weather is actually probably, it's not my favorite weather. Obviously, I like North Texas weather a lot more now. But I actually like doing New England weather during the summer. It's very interesting. It's also interesting all year round. But I would like to probably do some live streams. This summer, I will be doing more live streams because I'm not going to have anything going on. This is my full-time job now, so I'll be just doing that during the summer. I do plan on doing some more live streams other parts of the country this summer, so that might even include New England. So, obviously it might not be something you're interested in, but I might be doing that as well. I kind of like doing that sort of stuff, like kind of going over the big events. Here's a look at Oklahoma, by the way. So there's a few severe thunderstorms going on there. Nothing too crazy. Damaging wind 60 miles per hour. And $50 size hail. Jonesboro at 3-inch hail. You know where the 4-inch hail was? Real quick. I know it was somewhere. Form dev. Let's take a look. Most positive I saw that earlier. There was 4-inch hail. Let's see. 4-inch hail. 4-inch. Fulton, Arkansas. That's where it was. I'm not even sure where that is, to be honest. Let's go and take a look where Fulton, Arkansas is real quick. Arkansas. Not even in Arkansas. Here it is. Somewhere around here. Must be a small town because it's... Oh, it was probably around here. Viola. Might be around there. But yeah, I mean, there's 4-inch hailstone reported somewhere there. Apparently it broke right through a windshield. So, dangerous. Yeah, New England weather during the winter is very hard to predict. I actually met Harvey Leonard, if you know who that is. He works at WCVB. I talk to him a lot still. But yeah, I mean, he's very good at predicting that stuff. He always comes in during the wintry months, and he's always predicting that wintry weather. Actually, severe thunderstorm. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning. Look at that hail. Look at the... Doesn't really tell you. Come on. Hailstone radar is not really working. It wasn't working on the other storm either. Yeah, hailstorms were really underpredicted earlier. Channel 5, yeah, that's what it is. WCVB. Yeah, I met him back when I was, how long ago was it? 2015, so that's 7 years ago. That's when I first met him. And I've been talking to him ever since. I email him pretty often, so. Yeah. Last time I met up with him was back in like 2019. It was pre-COVID, and then I haven't talked to him really since, in person at least. But yeah. Alrighty. Anybody else have any questions? Anything at all? It can be Texas related. It can be literally anything. And that's kind of look at the weather. I mean, there's severe thunderstorm watch, including most of eastern Oklahoma. And then eventually these storms should push down to the south. And we might see some storms closer to DFW. Actually a possible tornado. No, that's not funnel cloud. That's like... Yeah, he's a very well-respected meteorologist for sure. He's been around, I don't know how long now. 30, 40 years now? I can't remember when he first started. It was back in, let's see, it was pretty close to 50 years ago, wasn't it? Blizzard of, I remember, 78, 77, 71. One of those years. 76. I mean, it was at least 40, 45 years ago they predicted that nor'easter perfectly. Nobody else did. That's my inspiration at this point, because I like to be very accurate. If I'm inaccurate on anything, I will not be happy with it at all, but I try to be as accurate as I can with storms. Sinking air happens when rain, basically, you know, this scenario here. Let's just take a look at whatever these storms here. So here's storms right here. This would basically create sinking air. So after a few hours, you cannot expect storms to develop there because they're sinking air, basically meaning the clouds are not able to, you know, basically grow up. I'm not entirely, again, sure about the specific details on what it means, but that's all I know off the top of my head. I know that it obviously it prevents storms from developing, but again, any rain that falls, like, again, for something like this, for example, I mean, we've seen it before in Texas where there's like, during the morning, late morning, early afternoon hours, let's just say, I remember this event, it was a couple of years ago, when I lived in Texas. There was some showers that developed out here, and we're expecting a big severe weather outbreak. It was like a enhanced or moderate risk of severe weather, and then they said there was sinking air, so we didn't see storms. I believe that was due to the fact that we just saw so much rain initially. It just created so much, you know, the moisture was basically used up, the temperatures were much lower, and that apparently created sinking air. I don't know the full explanation, though, to it. Again, I'm not professional yet, but I do remember that event. That was a few years ago. That's what we're basically looking at in terms of the weather. Not a whole lot going on. Obviously, we have our dry line back out to our west right now near Wichita Falls. Take a look at what the temperature is right now. Temperatures are in the 70s across most of North Texas. Here's your warm front, by the way. It's a little bit further south than what it was before. Warm front's probably right about, say, I don't know how you really draw here. Probably something like this. Probably more like this. So here's your warm front. Probably along those lines. I can't really. I don't like how the fronts are set up in here because the front's kind of screwing me up here. But the warm front's probably like kind of lined up right now across central and northeastern portions of Oklahoma, going through middle sections of Arkansas. Again, your dry line's back out here to the west. Cold front's probably down here now, I would assume. Might be more like this. Yeah, frontal boundaries don't update every hour on here. I think they only update like every 3 hours, so it's kind of a little bit annoying. Here's the dew points. It is extremely dry back out to the west. Abilene's already down to a dew point of 45. The dry lines move through there. Breckenridge is 59, so they might be close to that now. Wichita Falls is actually 64. Dew points in DFW right now, 68. 70 actually in eastern Dallas County, so it's pretty humid. 72 in Rockwall, by the way. Wow, it's humid. No problem, Kane. I am actually a freshman. I'm actually doing I think I'm doing introduction and advanced broadcast meteorology next semester. That's probably a better explanation, Jordan. Thank you. I'm more into the broadcast field, so I should obviously know those things, but just saying, most of the time you don't have to explain those things on air, but obviously very good to know them. I honestly, sinking air does not happen very often in North Texas. It happened once in the past, I think, 2 years. I think literally once in the past few years. So it doesn't happen very often. That's why, you know, it's not something I really think about that much. Quarter size hail south of Bristow, Oklahoma. You know, I believe there's supposed to be more storms in Oklahoma today, but there hasn't quite yet. A couple. Tornado warning, by the way, expired near Memphis, so kind of expected that. Going back to Fort Worth tomorrow from Waco. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, you're going from Fort Worth tomorrow from Waco. I don't think I'll have any issue, Brittany, in terms of timing tomorrow. I can go ahead and bring back up the timing real quick if you'd like to look. Again, we're going to go into this transition stage. I don't know why, but this transition is like 10 minutes long. It's not 10 minutes, but it's like 5-10 seconds. All right, here's the look at the tomorrow. So I don't expect anything from, I mean, if you're taking this like I-35 drive here, guessing that's your drive here, I wouldn't expect any issues with driving tomorrow. If you were to drive back at a good time, I would definitely drive back, you know, sometime before noon, but I don't expect much of any storm activity along I-35W tomorrow. I think any storms will probably be over here. I think this is kind of where we'll see some storms tomorrow. So eastern DFW and back off to the northeast. I don't think there'll be much of a threat along I-35 again, mainly due to the fact that dew points will be much lower. The dry line will kind of move through a bit early, so we won't see a whole lot tomorrow. But eventually by Sunday, we'll have a better shot. You can see much better chance of some showers and storms on Sunday. Definitely keep that in mind. If you have any outdoor plans, again, Easter Day is coming up. You'll definitely want to make sure that you're keeping eye to the sky on Sunday. Most of the stuff on Sunday will be during the morning, though. No problem, Brittany. Yeah, I got you, Shane. I mean, I'm classified as a weather enthusiast right now. I'm not an actual meteorologist, so I mean, I don't know everything. I know a good amount of stuff. I can say I know more than the average person would know about weather. I can at least say that. I mean, it's kind of hard to not do that because, I mean, again, in my scenario, I'm looking at a bunch of different weather stuff. I've been doing this for years now, so. Yes, Jim. I used to live in North Texas for 3 years, so I covered North Texas because when I was moving, I had a following, I believe, of 14,000 or 11,000. That's at the time. Or no, it wasn't even that much. I think I had a following of 9,000 when I moved. And it was mainly because of college, but I moved, and following 9,000, I'm like, all right, I might as well just, you know, keep it around because I'm not going to just, you know, ditch 9,000 followers and not have, you know, them have any source to go to like mine. So I decided I'm just going to keep this going. So I did, and here we are. I'm almost at 30,000 followers. I still do the same weather. I love doing it too. It's not like I don't, you know, it's not like I don't enjoy doing this. I would not be live streaming right now if I did not enjoy doing this. I enjoy every part of what I do, so, you know, that's why I still do it. It's not like I don't like doing it. I love doing everything. Even if, you know, I wasn't making any money doing this, I would still be doing it. I was doing this, you know, for at least 1.5 years before I actually started making any money off of Facebook or off of YouTube or off of anything. I mean, I was literally doing this for free, and I was loving doing it. I still love doing it even with making money. And obviously, it's going to be my full-time job coming up in the summer, so. That's why, again, I love doing this sort of thing. Yeah, I always have. I've actually been considering expanding to possibly another region coming up this summer. I'm not sure where. I've been thinking about it for a few months now. I mean, I could. I don't know if I will. I mean, at this point, everything I do right now is basically all done by me, except for a few articles. I have somebody doing a few articles here and there, but other than that, I mean, I'm literally doing 100% of everything on this page. The graphics, the forecasts, the video forecast, I mean, the live streams, everything. So, I do a lot of work. Actually, I probably spend about 50 to 60 hours per week on this page, even though I'm in school. So, I do a lot. I do it in classes, too. It's crazy. Kane, do you ever interested in storm chasing in the future? I've thought about it. Will I? I probably will at some point in my life. I don't know when. If I do, it'll probably be, I don't even know. I mean, I would probably have to be in Florida because I probably won't go back to Texas for a while. I was hoping to come back sometime in May to Texas, like sometime like this May. But the plane tickets are absurd right now, so I'm not going to. But yeah, I mean, maybe Florida if something happens here soon. There are some stuff that happen. I mean, during hurricanes, that'd be interesting. I'll be here for, yeah, I'll be, as I've said, like last year, for example, I did all the hurricane coverage last year. I've done it since actually 2019. I've been doing hurricane coverage. I'll definitely be doing hurricane coverage this year, and I hope to really expand on that as well in terms of hurricane coverage, because I'm very active. I'm very accurate with hurricane tracks and stuff like that, so I definitely plan on doing that. Orange hail in Ravondon. Probably not even saying that name right. Baden, Arkansas. I know it was in Fulton. I know Fulton had 4-inch hail. I'm not entirely sure though. Again, about those two. I'm guessing you probably looked it up. I definitely know for sure Fulton saw 4-inch sized hail. Hey, Hey, have you done any storm spotter classes through the National Weather Service? I actually have not. I want to, I just have not. Every time there's one, I'm always busy. It's for, I used to live in Denton County, for example, so I would only be able to do those if I was still in Texas, but I'll probably do one at some point in the future. I just haven't really gone to it, especially with being in school now. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment. You should do Central Oklahoma weather. By the way, I'm very behind on questions, so I'm probably reading these a lot late. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about Oklahoma. I'm also thinking about Florida. I'm also thinking about New England. I'm also thinking about the entire United States now. No, I honestly, I don't know. If I do expand, it might be to Oklahoma, but I don't know. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. Yeah, actually, Kane, I know. New England weather during the winter is a pain. There's a lot that you have to look at in the winter. I mean, even in Texas, when the winter, events happened, I was looking at those computer models left and right, every single new, model I came in. I only messed up, I think, one forecast this winter, and that was like at the very tail end of it. Everything else, I think I got pretty close to right in terms of accumulation and stuff like that. Did I ever consider meteorology at Oklahoma University? Yes, actually, I got accepted into it. But instead, since we moved to Florida, I decided to go to Embry-Riddle in Daytona Beach. So I am doing that for meteorology right now. I did very well consider it though. It mainly came down to that their classes at OU, you wouldn't be able to do meteorology classes until year 3, and I wanted to jump into it year 1. Which, if I was to say that today, where I'm at right now, at the tail end of freshman year, would have that mattered to me as of now? Probably not, but I at the time I was thinking there's no way I'm going to go the first 2 years not doing a meteorology class. I literally just got 12 years done of high school without learning a single thing about meteorology. So, that's kind of where I was at with that decision. That's literally the only reason why I didn't do Oklahoma weather or Oklahoma University. I mean, everything else was pretty good about campus, but something else about living in Florida. When it's like 65, 70 degrees in Florida now, I usually have to wear pants and a sweatshirt because it's just so cold. It's something about Florida, dude. It's something about Florida. Actually, I used to do New England weather. I used to do Florida, not Florida. I used to do New England weather. My first initial page, by the way, North Texas Weather Center. The first ever name for this page was Atkinson NH Weather. That's what it was. Back in 2015. I started my page when I was, when's 2015? How many years ago was that? 7? I was like 12 at the time. I was doing, just doing New England weather. I was doing it for a few years. Oh, you know what? I'm going to show you guys something, okay? Everybody should stay tuned for this. This is very interesting. I don't know how long it's going to take to find it, but it might take a minute. All right, I'm going to do a bunch of scrolling real quick. But I have some graphics that you might want to see from when I was like 12 or 13. They are, they're interesting. I don't know how long it's going to take to find. I don't know if there's any quicker way to find it. But it'll take me a minute. All right, while I'm doing that, I'm going to try to respond to another question. Wait, who told you that? I'm a freshman taking meteorology class at you right now. Honestly, I don't know. I think it was the tour guide. I think the tour guide said that, or something. I think even the I talked to the dean of students or something like that too. I talked to him about my weather page. At the time, by the way, when I talked to him about my weather page, I was like, I'm at 6,000 followers. You know, I was like, if I go to the college, you should give me a scholarship, full ride, because I have this following. That's what I thought at the time. Even I was like, I had a bit of an ego for some reason. I don't really have an ego anymore, but at the time I was like, I want a scholarship if I'm going to the school. I'll do a little sponsorship for Oklahoma University. No. But yeah. I mean, I think the dean of students also said that. But you're a freshman. Well, actually, yeah, you should. I don't know. Or you're also a freshman, so weird. That makes no sense because when I took a tour, they said that. They might have changed it, but they told me that I'm taking all like gen ed classes basically the first 2 years. Sent to PM. Okay, I'll check in a second. Okay, respond to that. Feel for a new meteorologist for 72 hours out. Yeah, I mean the yeah, winter in New England is just a different world. Okay, I'm getting there, by the way. I'm getting there. Don't worry. I'm finding the old graphics, pulling out the cobwebs out of the Facebook page here. You guys can also find that. I mean, like they're public. It's not like I privated them, but they're at the very beginning of photos on this page. It's gonna take me a while to scroll through all this, but I've only scrolled through, I believe, 2021 so far. So we're getting. By the way, again, if you have any questions about North Texas weather at all, if you have any questions about literally anything in general, because this is, again, Let's Talk Weather episode 1, let me know. Hopefully we get a lot more interaction in the upcoming ones, because I would love to answer more questions about literally anything. Again, any weather across the United States we can talk about as well. It's not just North Texas, but... You know, when I'm scrolling through my photos, like, from certain events... And it feels like some of these were like just yesterday. It's crazy. I have so many photos on Facebook. Shouldn't have posted so much and I wouldn't have to scroll through forever. Okay, I'm getting close, I think. By the way, if you're just joining us, if you have any questions again about North Texas weather, let me know. Make sure to follow us here on Facebook if you haven't already. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're wondering about the top right and why it's a black background, again, I got a new green screen. I will be doing more with the green screen at some point. I literally just packed it and I put a black background for now. I might change it though. You guys remember this at all? Pull this up. What view am I on? I'm on a good view. Alright, we're gonna the whatever view this is. This is back in February 17th of 2021. Y'all remember the snow nados that we had in North Texas? This is again a snow nado from just over a year ago. Incredible. But you might be interested in that. Alright, I'm trying to find the old photos though. What am I planning on doing with the future with weather? I want to do broadcast meteorology, like on TV or something like that. But you never know. I mean, with how this page has been going recently, if I can keep this page growing, I could make this my actual job. But I'm not gonna, put all my, I'm not gonna put everything on that because obviously it's kind of vague. But at least for right now, it's a good, it's a good job for right now for me to be able to, do what I love full time, because I want to keep doing this full time, obviously. Take forever. Can I just look it up? NTX Weather Center 2017. If I'm ever gonna find it. I have such old graphics. Oh, I found it. This is my first ever graphic I ever made, I think. This right here. This is my first ever graphic I ever made right here. I don't know what view I'm on. Okay, I'm on this one. It's kind of hard to see. I just put this on another tab. There we go. This is my first ever forecast I made. First ever. First ever. I'll get to that in just a second, Vector. Sorry. I was going back in the, the cobwebs. Going back in the cobwebs. This is back in 2015, by the way. First ever forecast. I don't remember even how I made this, to be honest. I think I made this on a Google slide. This is so crazy. How far we've come. 5 to 8 inches up in far northwestern Vermont. 3 to 6 inches. 1 to 4 inches. Boating to 2 inches in northern Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire. I'll also get to that in a second, Benjamin. Sorry. I was just going back in time. All right, let's go to this real quick. Oh, goodness. Thought I'd bring that up. Okay. To the forecast. Okay, so Grayson County looked like late week. Are you talking about like Wednesday through Friday, Benjamin? Saw your 5-day recently. You meant my 7-day forecast? I don't have a 5-day forecast. I'm assuming you mean the 7-day forecast. I don't think you've seen it before. I don't know what entirely you're talking about because I don't think I have a 5-day forecast. Okay, 7-day forecast. Okay, just making sure I did. I was about to say I don't think I have a 5-day forecast anywhere. Even on my website, I have a 7-day forecast. Fannin County, I would expect again probably storms. About a 35% chance tomorrow. Go back to the green wells here. Here's a look at tomorrow. So maybe some storms tomorrow. Sometime during the mid to late, or as early. I mean, as early as like noontime. But that's what we're looking at tomorrow, and then Sunday probably about a 40 to 50. Sunday will be a different story. It probably will be closer to 70 to 80% chance, in my opinion. But it also could be a little bit lower. It kind of depends on what happens. In this scenario here, we have a storm forming over the cap during the morning. And storms might reach the area during the afternoon hours or late morning. Go back to the HR model. See that it's a much higher chance in Fannin County. Anything out of the ordinary? I would expect primarily storms after, or not storms, sorry. I would expect the main threats to be quarter-sized hail and damage wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Tornado threat is basically 0. So those are the only 2 threats I would be concerned about in terms of severe weather. Where did I learn to interpret different weather models? I self-taught myself, Jim. I honestly self-taught myself everything. So anything that I show you, anything that I know right now is basically everything self-taught. The only small things that I've not taught myself and I was actually taught in college so far was just some simple little things like with soundings, for example. I know like the K index, the lifted index, LCL, LFC, all those little things like level free convection, level of something connection. I can't remember what the LCL means. Lifted condensation level, that's what it is. But those things I've learned through college. The other things, though, like all these other model interpretation things, those things I've all learned myself. So. And I've been pretty accurate with everything ever since I kind of started doing this. All right, so next week, so mid to late next week. Let's go to that. So here's a look at next week in terms of storms. We might see some showers and storms late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. So this might be, a couple of storms might make the Metroplex. During the daytime Wednesday, the European model shows all of these storms developing. I don't buy that at all right now, but there might be some storms then. I would expect probably a better chance during the late afternoon hours, if that does exist. Let's go to the GFS model real quick. I haven't really... Let's take a look at the GFS though real quick, and I'll kind of show you the same probabilities here for late next week in terms of storms. Tuesday into Wednesday, again, maybe some showers and storms. I mean, even the GFS kind of shows the same scenario. There might be some storms during the late morning, early afternoon, Wednesday. And eventually Thursday, GFS doesn't really show much. Maybe a few storms late Thursday. And Friday, a couple of showers possible. And then after that, we should dry out for the weekend. I think more storm chances will return by, like, Sunday or Monday. You can kind of see here. GFS pushed this out closer to next Monday, but that's just too far to look. I mean, you can't really... stuff. I appreciate it, Jim. Living northern Collin County. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. You should do a video on how data gets turned from the sensors to the actual, like, radar and stuff. Oh, do you mean, like, how computer models put data onto, like, this? Like, how it shows this speck of rain right here at 4 o'clock on a Friday. Is that what we were talking about? Obviously, we didn't see any rain today in DFW. There you go. Yeah, that stuff I actually don't. And I, funny enough, I know a lot of math goes into it, but I know almost nothing about it. I can look into it, maybe make a video with it. But I want to get a video editor so I can actually do this stuff because I am horrible at making videos. The only videos I can make are forecasts that are like, you know, a few minutes long. I cannot make a video though that's like edited well because I don't know how to edit videos. I would have to, if I was going to make a video like that, I would have to have good edits on it because it would actually, you know, explain more things. Like I would explain one thing, then jump into the other thing, and then, yeah, that sort of thing. Instead of using like a slideshow or something. Like the forecast videos, yeah, the forecast videos I like as well. Funny enough, I watch my own videos like 3 times over almost every day because, you know, I like watching my own videos for some reason. But yeah, I like doing my forecast videos because they're, you know, any forecast on TV, they're not edited by any means. These forecasts are the same way. They're not edited by any means. I mean, even the start of the video, there's like a brief, like half a second at the beginning that you'll hear me have a breath and then say, "This is North Texas Weather Center with your latest 3-minute forecast," or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of wing it on my forecast videos, but other videos like, you know, the cap video, for example, I did have a few edits in there just so I could, you know, time it out right. So I could do the sounding, and I would have to enlarge, you know, that other photo. So another part, I had 4 little edits in there, but yeah, if I was going to do a video like that, I would actually need an editor so I could actually kind of do that. By the way, I'm just curious for those that are watching, is the black background better than what it was before on the face cam here? Should I change it to something else? Should it be like, you know, I don't know, something else? Or is it like, I don't know. Or was it better what it was before? Before, I believe it was like just like my background. Like a bed in the background. It wasn't really anything spectacular. Hard to ask, but can you do some deep research for the April 11th, 2016 Wiley hailstorm? Do some deep research. What kind of research do you want me to do for that? $300 million in damage was done to that? What? I'd never even heard about this storm. I didn't live in North Texas in 2016, so I wouldn't have known. But pretty impressive. Four-inch hailstones are larger between 1950 and 2016. In 2016, Wiley had 5.25-inch hailstone sizes. What? I didn't even know about this. Crazy. I'll go and pull up the map real quick. I'll show you here. I can pull it up. I don't know if I'll be able to. Yeah, National Weather Service actually has a whole section on their website about it. Quite interesting. Your exposure level is way too high. Yeah, I know. Again, I literally just got the screen tonight, so I haven't had much time to play around with it. Like, I got it a few days ago, but I didn't come home until tonight, and I didn't have much time to set it up before going live. So, okay, wait, I'm way behind on questions all of a sudden. Yeah, short forecast is what I try to aim for. I'm hoping that I can start to do. Well, I want to do short forecasts, obviously, but I also want to do some longer live streams, kind of like what I'm doing right now. I want to do it a lot more often for more places, not just North Texas at some point, but hard to do. My audience, for example, right now is mostly just North Texas based, so it's not like I can just do like a severe weather outbreak in Oklahoma or something like that. I could actually do Oklahoma, but if I was going to do like something like, I don't know, New England, people wouldn't want to watch that. I want to do it. It's going to be hard for people to actually watch that sort of stuff. Plus, my page is literally called North Texas Weather Center, so would also not probably follow me if I was doing a stream from there. Okay. Some storm reports. Yeah, I can look at it. I'll look at the Wiley hailstorm in a second. Like the room layout because it's just some guy in a room. I gotcha. I don't disagree with that. Actually, I kind of agree with that. Yeah, I want to be, you know, that's a good point, Justin. I want to kind of be the next Ryan Hall. I know I can do that. It's just, the problem is I've branded myself to North Texas Weather Center. I'm not going to change from what I'm doing right now. There's no way I'm going away from North Texas Weather Center because I love doing North Texas weather to begin with. Just the thing is, I want to try to be, you know, being able to do some of those bigger events. Even some of the smaller ones. I mean, like, not even all the big ones. Like, kind of what today is, I believe it's just a slight risk of severe weather. I mean, there was, you know, a big tornado, 4-inch size hail, storms in Oklahoma right now. Kind of looking at the radar real quick. A couple storms near Beggs and Council Hill. I mean, I'd love to do, like, some of that sort of stuff. But kind of hard with the audience I have. Because, again, it's North Texas weather. I'm not, again, I will keep doing North Texas weather, but kind of something to keep in mind. Thinking about it. I've thought about it a lot. It's just the way I can do it is kind of hard. I would not be opposed to doing that primarily on YouTube, and Facebook would all be North Texas Weather Center, and this page on YouTube would be both. But again, that's kind of hard to do with what I have right now. Because my following on Facebook is like 30,000 for, but it's nearly 30,000 for North Texas. YouTube, it's almost 2,000. So it's not nearly as large, and it wasn't really as impactful. But I don't know. I've been thinking about it. We'll see. I'm just sharing thoughts off the top of my head. Nothing's set in stone or anything. Measured the one that was 5.46 inches. Really? A Wiley storm? Yeah, maybe a second channel. I've thought about that too. Just the problem is, I don't know. I just, like, I would make a second channel. It's just a little bit harder. I don't know. Thinking about it. I honestly don't know. You know, I'd love advice, by the way. If you ever, you know, send me advice, I definitely look into that stuff. I take feedback and stuff pretty seriously. I try to look into what I can do, but second channel wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, I got you, Vector. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know what I do is pretty helpful. I mean, obviously, it's a free resource. You know, National Weather Service is a free resource. Anything on Facebook basically is a free resource, and YouTube. Yeah, I like doing this stuff. Yeah. Okay, I was gonna bring this up because this was asked about. Here's the Wiley hailstorm, by the way. Let's see if my views are good on this. All right, here's the. I can go to another screen with this. Open a new tab. All right, here we go. This is the Wiley hailstorm. This is April. So here's an outflow boundary, right? Here's your outflow boundary. It's pushing south. Obviously, your large, very large hail. Must have been very high elapse rates that day. I have to think. That is a large storm, though. Just off an outflow boundary. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That was April 11th, though, so there's probably a lot of, like, again, as I kind of said, there was high elapse rates and stuff like that. You have a schedule for my uploads. Funny enough, I really don't. Yeah, I'll do that in a second, Vector. My upload schedule, I mean, this May, once I'm out of college, starting May 6th, I think, or 7th, I will begin doing morning and evening forecasts. So my morning forecast will actually get uploaded usually around 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And then my evening forecast will usually get uploaded around 5 or 6, maybe 4. April 28th, 2021 Keller hailstorm. Find it on Google, that'd be nice. Found one. Google's always nice. Oh, okay, Fred. The first result that showed up showed golf balls, and I was like, what? But golf ball sized hail in Keller? These live streams, by the way, if I keep, I'm not sure what it'll be at this point. My schedule this summer, in terms of forecasting and stuff like that, I'm hoping to do probably I'll probably do it every day. I mean, I'll probably do the same thing literally every day. But I'm hoping to do evening forecasts. Well, I'll probably do morning forecast Saturday, Sunday, evening and morning forecast throughout the entire week. So Monday through Friday. So that'll be my schedule. And then the Let's Talk Weather ones, Basically, let's talk weather as in what I'm doing right now. This is the first ever episode, by the way. I've already done a couple of these before, but this is basically now an official series I'm calling it Let's Talk Weather. But these will probably be every day. Maybe every other day. At least during the May month, I'll probably do it every day. June, I might start doing it like every other day. July, August will probably be every other day. What I'm planning on. This live stream thing. I enjoy doing live streams a lot more, to be honest. Oh, shoot, Peter. I forgot you sent me a message. That was like so long ago. I don't have Facebook open, so I just have Restream open, which is what I'm using to see both chats. They reported 3.5-inch hail on April 28th, 2021. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm behind. I didn't realize people were messaging me. Oh, my bad. Sorry, Peter. I completely forgot. Whoa. Okay. When was this? Was this 4-inch hail, you said? Peter? Look at that purple. A little bit blurry because Facebook kind of does this, but look at this purple in that storm. He said he didn't even see. I don't think I've ever seen purple like that either before. He said that too. He says that he didn't think I've ever seen purple like that. Wow, that's crazy. I've never. That's near Walnut Ridge too. Okay, that's what you were talking about. Yeah, that is extremely large. Holy. I mean, I've never seen, again, purples like that. I think it goes as high as light blue too, which is kind of crazy. I've never seen light blue before. Or even blue in general. So that is pretty incredible. See the velocities in there. That's probably damaging winds, I would guess, but it also might just be because of how much rain's falling. Wow, that's pretty incredible. I've seen something like that before. Another view edit, by the way. Another one that he sent. Lights, yeah, that's, I mean, that's very, you can tell it's very large hail. It's not just heavy rain, but that is extremely large hail that's falling. That is pretty incredible. I mean, I've never seen something like that before, to be honest with you. Like, I've never seen that significant purple before. Okay, what was this other hailstorm? April 28th, let me go to, see if it pulls up another website. There's videos on YouTube about it. Hail interactive map. Oh, I remember this. Oh, I actually might have photos. Oh, okay. I actually, well, it wouldn't be on this computer. I actually remember that. Okay, this was only a year ago. I don't know why I'm thinking such a long time ago. I actually know I had some photos on this, I think. I just don't know how I can get back to it. It's kind of far back. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. I think I have photos on Facebook. I have a photo. I know I have a photo. I'll get to your thing in a second, Vector. Sorry, I was gonna do the forecast for you again, but I forgot. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I know I have a photo of this too. April 28th, 2021. Will it pop up? No. Okay, I gotta scroll through a bunch of photos to find this. I actually remember this, though. I remember that specific hailstone. For some reason. Oh, actually, I can just scroll through this entire thing. Wait, actually, might be fun. Pretty cool. Okay, I actually might be able to find this pretty quickly, so just give me a second. Message me a photo? Okay, I'll look at it in a second. I don't know what that sound effect is. Oh, thank you, Linda, for the 1,200 stars. I appreciate it. Did not realize that was a sound effect. Thank you so much, though, for the 1,200 stars. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Very generous of you. I did not realize MLG horns went off when I got that many stars. It's weird. The photo is not loading for me, but I think I can find it on my own page. I don't know how fast these photos are going to load. May 10th. Okay, I'm pretty close to it. By the way, this upcoming hurricane season is going to be pretty active. You guys heard about that? I guess the Colorado Institute or something like that said that. Yeah, I'm pretty close to it. This is May 3rd now. I remember this hailstone, so what it looks like. In the meantime, for weather on Saturday, as I kind of said before, most of the storms and stuff like that will be back off to the northeast. So that's what we're looking at then, probably during the afternoon hours. And then on Sunday, we might see some more storm activity kind of pop up here. Again, anybody in this region will have chance for storms on Sunday. The question is, where will these storms start? Because if it starts down here, storms will primarily be south of this line that I just drew here. Now, if they develop further north, which in comparison to the HR model, then we'd be looking at storms primarily this region here, which may be in this region, but I would not put my hopes up on that if you're looking for rain out there. But we should definitely see some showers or maybe a few storms in eastern DFW. Sure, on Sunday, I think. Okay, well, I got the close to it. I don't actually have a hailstone photo. Okay, let me look at what you sent me. I thought I had a photo. Houston's gonna be underwater again. I mean, it might. Yeah, they've been unlucky the last few years from Actually, I think I have a photo. Yeah, I definitely have a photo of what it looked on a radar. That storm. Okay, here's my photo. This was back in April 28th of. Out a little bit. Okay. Well, it's gonna do the live update thing. Sorry. Apologize, everybody. I don't know if this transition's even good. I'll primarily use that on actual live streams if I actually have to use it. But this is the photo. And actually, I believe this got tornado warned at one point. For large hail. I feel like I got photos of it. I just don't see them on my Facebook page, so I eventually went toward Keller. Yeah, there was a tornado warning with this. Yeah, there was. I remember. Okay. Yeah, that was a nasty supercell too. That's my photo of it from, and back in April 28th of 2021. I have a few photos of like what there was like a kind of like a funnel cloud almost that looked like at one point. That's the only photos I have of that actual storm. Lake City, Arkansas had 4-inch hail report. How long ago was that? Is that what that says? Does my thing say live radar update? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I put that transition in. I thought it'd be kind of cool, but I don't. More for live streams for severe weather. I'm just gonna turn it off. Actually, I can turn it off, right? I have a breaking news one. You guys want to see the breaking news one real quick? Breaking news one looks like. It's so dumb. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Going back to regular transition here. There we go. Yeah, this should look normal now. This is not gonna do the weird transitions that I just had before. Yeah, the transition is way too long. I do have to agree with that. I'll play around with it. Sick transitions, thanks. I have to work on it though. They definitely are a little bit long. They look good though. The first one looked good. The breaking news one was just random. Do I have a timestamp reported from Adam Lucio, Storm Chaser? Okay, gotcha. Go up on here. What part of Arkansas is that in? Just curious. Like eastern, northeastern? Oh, I see it. Yeah, it's right here. Lake City, 4-inch hail. Actually reported by the fire department. Lake City, 4-inch hail. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. Those transitions are great. Don't have anybody else tell you otherwise. And the thing is, they are a little bit long though. The transitions are good. I will admit, but I will agree with how long they are. They are the first one is very long. The breaking news one is kind of cool, but I have to play around with it again. Yeah, so there was 4-inch hail reported there. Probably a while ago, but. Again, if you do have any questions related to North Texas weather, let me know. I've actually been live for a while. How long have I been live for? Hour and 25 minutes. Okay, I didn't realize I was live for that long. I don't have anything else going on tonight, so again, I'll be live as long as there's stuff coming in. Questions, comments, anything. I don't have much to do. It's kind of a slow night overall. Just kind of waiting for what's coming tomorrow. The only thing that's going on right now, really, is these storms. But I mean, Oklahoma storms right now are kind of weak. They're severe, but they're not, crazy severe. See near Morrison, Kansas Hill, there's a couple severe thunderstorm warnings there, but it's all north of Interstate 40, which is obviously nowhere close to North Texas. A lot of hail reports, though, of half-dollar-sized hail there. The warnings have, for the most part, subsided across the Ohio Valley and Arkansas, Tennessee, northern Mississippi. Those areas aren't really looking at any warnings. So there's I would have looked a little bit. If there was tornado warnings, I'd be looking at that stuff, but there isn't a whole lot of activity right now on the radar. No problem, Brent. Appreciate your support. Again, if you are new to the stream, make sure to follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to become a supporter on Facebook, it's only $4.99 a month, and you get plenty of benefits, including exclusive announcements and exclusive forecasts as well. Check it out with the link in the description. Take a look at the that I just got sent. I will check this out. Let's see. Inflation adjusted annual tornado running total. What in the world is this? Okay, never looked at this before. Let's show how many tornadoes happen. Like, this shows the percentiles. Okay. Oh, is this for 2022? It's like the projection of how many tornadoes we're supposed to see this year. That's a link to the tornadoes so far this year compared to other years. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I got you. All right, that's actually kind of interesting. Okay, let's take a look at this. So I'm gonna put this in another tab, and let's make sure it fits the screen. I'm just gonna move my display capture. All right, this is something I just got sent. So the U.S. basically the annual tornado trend. This is actually a pretty interesting graph. Okay, so this is the lowest year we ever had. I don't know what year this was. Let's say. But the lowest year we had was 74 tornadoes through this time. I feel like it was actually kind of recent, but I could be wrong. That's the lowest. Here's like the mean basically right here. 223 typically by this time. We're at 421 right now. We're on track for one of our bigger years. And I'm guessing that this year right here, 1884, was probably back in 2011 or 2013 or 15. I can't remember what year. Yeah, we're near record. Yeah, I mean, we are definitely near record for how many tornadoes we've seen this year. That's pretty impressive. 421. 308, by the way, for like just above average, the 75th percentile. 25th percentile is 183. The average is about 1297, so I mean, we're on track. If we kept going at this rate right now, kind of draw a line here. Like we'll kind of end right around here, so maybe 1,600 tornadoes. Remember this number when the end of the year comes. 1,638 tornadoes. That's how many tornadoes I'm predicting by the end of this year. Remember that number. And that number doesn't even look like a number. 16. Random number I brought up. But that's just a prediction I'm making. But no, for real. I mean, we are definitely on track for an above average year. I mean, even this year, you know, what's crazy is this year didn't even start out that active. So, like, you can see, compared to, like, the highest one on record. Highest one on record was at least around 250 by, like, mid-January. So, you know the exact year, Jordan, of what the red one was? Highest? Guessing it was 2013 or 20. I can't remember what the exact year was for some reason. I think it was 2011. So I get specific. like in specific. Now the black line you can see here, I mean, this year, for example, I mean, the most tornadoes we saw by even early March was like 60, I would say, or something like that, right around then. It just kind of spikes now. And we here in Texas, obviously, literally just saw a big tornado outbreak, you know, back in March. We saw, how many tornadoes was it again? 17, 18? Yeah, Benjamin, for sure. I can look at that. Let's go to our, we're not doing the transition right now. We're going to go back to just regular transitions. All right, here's a look at the Oklahoma storms right now. Ooh, golf ball size tail now. Getting a little bit interesting. So, looks like here's your 3 severe thunderstorm warnings right now. 1 near Morris, which has the potential for golf ball size hail, damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Then that includes just north of Hoffman. So let's see what cities includes. Council Hill. I don't know how to pronounce half those names, to be honest. Wainwright, maybe. Napa. Not even gonna pronounce the other ones, but those are the cities that are included. Moving east-southeast, probably southeast more than anything, at 35 miles per hour. Or golf ball size tail possible at that one. And, or close to golf ball size tail. And then this other severe thunderstorm warning. This storm's actually, I think, been weakening for a little bit. Going toward warm right now. Quarter size tail. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour possible at that one. A couple of the few storms that are ongoing in Oklahoma. This will eventually probably, you know, more storms will probably start to develop here. Storms will probably start to develop in this area and kind of move down to the south. I think this probably will happen here over the next few hours. My posture gets worse and worse as I get throughout the stream. Yeah, that's what's going on in Oklahoma right now. Is that right? Okay, that was 2011. Thank you. Okay. That's what I thought. I kept saying 2013 for some reason. I don't know why I think 2013 was a big year. Okay, well, that was kind of interesting. Bunch of stuff put up now. I don't know if I don't know who asked the question about the what was it? I don't know if you're still here for the Keller hailstorm, or not the Keller hailstorm. The what lost it. Hailstorm was this? The Cullen County one, whatever it was. I can't remember what town it was. But this one, it's actually kind of interesting. You can see the cap in the morning at 6 in the morning. Temperature inversion on the sounding. There's actually a cap in the morning from the weather balloon data. And at the 1 o'clock hour, there was a bit of an inversion up here, farther up in the atmosphere. Then, assuming this is kind of when the storm happened, like a little temperature inversion right there. But I think the thing was the outflow boundary developed. I believe this is in Dallas, I'm guessing. Guessing that's where those balloons were shot off at. Yeah, Fort Worth soundings. Okay, that's probably why it was. That's probably why it's saying that, but pretty interesting looking at this. I'm not sure what the exact times were on this, but definitely a cap. Oh, Wiley, that's what it was. Okay, Wiley. What website is this? This is the National Weather Service. I'll put it on the chat. I just Googled it and found it. Or where the chat is. I have to search up Facebook real quick because I'm on Facebook. Again, if you do have any questions, let me know in chat. We'll be live for a little bit longer. I'm not sure longer, but a little bit. Okay. Put it in chat. Wiley Storm. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Trying to figure out what it was. If you are enjoying this live stream, by the way, make sure to hit the like button on either Facebook or YouTube. Appreciate the support. I love my job, but sometimes hate it. Sometimes hate having... No, I actually don't. That's the thing. I don't hate talking about weather at all. Like, I'll always talk... Like, it's crazy. That's the one thing I like talking about is weather. I like, honestly, I don't really... I've never had a point where I was like, I don't like doing this. I really haven't. Still haven't to this day. I've done this page for about 3 years now, I think. Full time for about 2. Then, yeah, I've done weather since I was like 3, so. And you know, the thing is, like, this following that I have now wasn't something I ever imagined happening. Like, I'm up to 30,000 almost on Facebook now. I never imagined about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I thought, you know, I hope to get to maybe 1,000, 1,500 followers and call it a day after like 3 or 4 years. After I get out of college, I'll have a nice following, put it on a college resume. It's turned into a lot different than I actually imagined it. You know, I've always been that person. You know, back in like 2017, 2018, I was always like, I want to be that guy that, you know, is an influencer. I want to be, you know, a gamer, for example. Like, you know, those people that make millions of dollars per year from just gaming. Which obviously, I was never expecting that with weather, to be honest. I don't obviously make that much, and I probably never will, but just kind of put that in perspective. I mean, like, I always wanted to be that guy. I want to be an influencer, because I love doing this. I love being live right now. Like, I just enjoy it. But Preston Plays. I've actually never heard of him. I've actually heard of him, but I don't really know who he is. Yeah, anybody like that, I mean, like, you know, I've always imagined being one of those people, but it's an imagination. Yeah, but with this page, I honestly, like, I was just thinking, you know, 1,500 followers back after about 4 or 5 years. Yeah, Jordan, that's kind of my goal now. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't even know who Ryan Hall was until like a week ago. But yeah, I kind of want to be something like that someday, but it's gonna be kind of hard. Again, since I'm already attached to North Texas Weather Center, everybody that's following me is basically from the North Texas region. So if I was to ever do that, it would be primarily on YouTube. It wouldn't be on Facebook, because Facebook would just be North Texas. Problem is, if I was going to do it on YouTube, I would probably have to make another channel, which making another channel probably means that I wouldn't have as much. I'd probably only have maybe 100 subscribers if I'm lucky. I would actually watch those videos at first. Live streams or whatnot. I don't even know how Ryan Hall did it, to be honest with you. I think he started like 2 years ago or something like that. Just kind of blew up almost instantly. Really weird. I'm not sure how he did it. All craving real weather from a real meteorologist with all the hype and going Delcas. Yeah, I mean, they're good. I like watching those kind of people. I mean, everybody has their own personality in the weather world, and I'm not gonna, you know, there's not a single meteorologist I've thought about seeing and saying, you know, they don't deserve to be doing that job. Every single meteorologist on television is pretty good, in my opinion. I think that there's always, every station has really good meteorologists. They, you know, everybody that's gone through the meteorology degree is very, you know, good, in my opinion. But, you know, I mean, for example, me, I just do weather on Facebook. Facebook and YouTube. That's what I'm doing right now. I would love to keep doing this, but, you know, will happen in the future. There's a lot of meteorologists out there that have very good personalities. There are some that don't really have much of a personality. That's what a lot of the stations look for, is personality. So I like talking about really anything. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Again, if you have any questions, comments, anything, let me know. I'll apply for a few more. I am actually getting very hot. I don't know if you guys probably can't even see it, but I actually have a light right here that is shining into my face, and it's literally, it's been making me sweat a little bit. It's kind of hot. I'll have to probably turn in the brightness a little bit. So, with the green screen, I need it, because if I turn it off, by the way, I don't know if I'll, do I do it? I don't even know how to turn this off from here. All right, go ahead and turn this off real quick. I'm gonna get out of the shot though. Put it off. This is what it would look like without it on, which actually isn't that bad. I thought it would look a lot worse. There's a little black spot you can see kind of up there on the face cam. Without it on is actually not terrible, but it kind of shows like my glasses start to glare a bit, so yeah. So that's kind of what that is all about, the face cam and the green screen and whatnot. So I kind of like the green screen though. I just got it literally a few days ago. I'm getting a new keyboard too that should help kind of plot. This keyboard that I have right now, very worn out here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but these keys are so worn out. It's like a $30 keyboard on Amazon. It was really kind of cheaply made. Yep, that's about it. All right. I don't see any more questions or anything like that. It is now almost 11. It's actually past 11 o'clock for you guys. It's 12 my time. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. This is the first ever episode of Let's Talk Weather. I plan on doing another one tomorrow night. Actually, I might do one tomorrow night. We'll see. I probably will. Depending on if we see severe weather tomorrow. If we see severe weather tomorrow, I will go live for that. If I go live for that, there probably won't be a Let's Talk Weather. There will be a Let's Talk Weather most likely Sunday night. So just keep an eye out for that. But again, if you have any questions, again, let me know on Facebook, YouTube, anything like that. Comment. Always around, basically. 24/7, most part. Appreciate everybody watching. Again, it was a great stream. I think it was an hour and a half now. So really appreciate everybody watching. Everybody's questions, comments, everything was great. I hope to talk to all later. Have a safe night. And we'll be watching the weather pretty closely for you tomorrow. A forecast for the morning forecast will come out probably about an hour. I haven't even recorded it yet, so I'll do that. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of your night. Thank you guys so much for watching.